Namaste. In the previous session, we have seen the importance of reading the body language, the gestures and also the languages, the spoken and the unspoken word. During the case history, we have also observed lot of details about the client. Now, rapport building, we are going to observe how the dialogue is developed, how the deeper thought is given to the interaction between the counselor and the client, as both of them have the same goal to achieve, the goal of making the client feel more comfortable, having improving his quality of life and also having better mental health. To develop the better communication between the client and the counselor, there are three important things that we need to keep in mind. First is the principle of empathy, genuineness and also the unconditional acceptance, the unconditional positive regard for the client. Regardless of the client's background, every counselor must be very sensitive to accepting the client as he or she is. So, we need to observe again the facial expressions, the word, the spoken word as well as the unspoken word. So, we learn to read between the lines. Now, there are certain simple practical skills which you can use. First is that when you greet the client for the first time, please make it a very informal conversation. Talk generally in the social concept like how was the day, did you find the place, you have seen it in the clip, that is how we start with to make the client feel comfortable. Always address the client by his or her name. Also make sure that if love, in the case that we have observed, the father is a doctor, so we say Dr. Sharma. So, this is how we observe and also address them. Then also you need to introduce yourself briefly. How did you come to know about this? Like in the clip you have observed that the tuition teacher has referred the client to you. So, we speak about that. So, the person is aware that we are a counselor and you are going to help the client through this difficult situation. Then after that, genuineness, your genuine interest in the client will be communicated to him without even you understanding it, even if you do not say it in the words, through your body language. As I told you, the client and the counselor both are guessing, both are trying to understand each other, the genuine interest of the counselor or it is just the fake expression. So, we need to be sincerely and genuinely interested in helping the client. Then also for which you need to understand that whatever you are speaking is important to the client, but he may not be in a receptive position. So, you will have to adjust the way you speak, the speed, the tone, the volume, just as your speed, volume, everything communicates a different feeling in the client, just as the client's body movements create a different feeling in you. So, it is an interactive process. So, rapport is between the client and the counselor, where both of them are equally important. We also, when we are speaking to the client, we have to make sure that you give him enough time to speak. Sometimes you need to take a pregnant pause. Just let the client relax and then he or she will open out to you. So, we have to be very understanding, showing this unconditional regard so that the client feels comfortable and he will be able to speak to you more easily. Then we have to be very sensitive to the point of view, because the point of view that you are harboring in your own mind and the client put forth may be completely different. So, we need to understand that you are exactly getting the gist of what the client feeling is. You have to observe very carefully here how the client responds, how the body language speaks and how did the client look. Observe the changes in the body language and also the speech content. So, both are equally important and which will give you help a better rapport. Now, we are going to see a film clip in which please do observe at which point the client starts changing. Observe the body language, the spoken and the unspoken word, because the client is speaking very softly. So, we need to understand exactly how the changes have taken place. Also, please note down if there are any clues which you get from the client speech which can be utilized for further diagnosis of the problem. Hello Rupa, are you feeling better now?
Yes, much better. I've been sleeping well since the relaxation. My sleep was disturbed, but after that, I've been sleeping well.
So now you are able to sleep well through the night?
Yes.
Good. I am happy to know that. Okay. Mrs. Singh called me and she told me you have been a good student and also a good dancer. Have you been learning Bharatnatyam?
Yes, I've been learning
You like to? So do you practice now?
No, I don't practice.
Not now?
No.
Why? What happened?
I just don't feel like dancing. In fact, for that matter, I don't feel like doing anything nowadays.
You don't feel like doing anything? Have you spoken to your parents about it?
No, they will get very angry.
Angry? Why will they get angry? Don't cry. Please have some water. It's okay. Okay. Have you done something else that will make them angry?
You will not tell my parents or anyone.
Okay, Rupa. Please tell me everything frankly. Only then I will be able to help you better.
I study in a co-ed school and everyone loves my dance.
Is it?
Yes, and there is a boy in my class and he told me that his dad is a big film producer and that he will give me a chance to dance in the films. And even though I like classical dance, I always wanted to dance in Bollywood. So I was really very thrilled. And he asked me to send my videos and I started sending my videos to him.
So, classical dance videos?
Yes, my classical dance videos, my school performances. And then I kept asking him for feedback and he kept stalling, he never really said anything. And one day he asked me,
What happened one day?
one day he asked me to wear something and dance. And I was not okay doing it, but I don't know what happened. I just couldn't say no, and so
What did he ask you to wear?
he asked me to wear a bikini and I didn't even have one. So I had to go and I bought it.
You bought it?
Yes.
I think bikinis are quite expensive. Do you have so much of money?
No. I took it from my mom's purse. I
Okay.
can't believe I'm a thief now.
No. You are not a thief at all. It is just a mistake. And I am sure it is the last time.
Yes.
You have realized your mistake, right?
Yes. And so I wore it and I started dancing and he started recording it. And then I immediately realized that this was not okay and I switched off my laptop. And then he started calling me to turn it on and I didn't answer his calls, and since then I'm scared that he will threaten me, and he's been threatening me that he'll make the video viral if I don't do the things he asks me to do. So
Relax Rupa. Don't
my
cry.
life is ruined now.
Don't worry. We will lodge a complaint with the cybercrime people. They are very nice. They will guide us, and not only that, they can stop the video going viral. So you don't have to worry about it.
Can they do that?
Yes, they will stop it. It will not go viral again. Okay. Now tell me anything more. Have you been doing your relaxation, also affirmations? Good. So that is nice. Does it help you?
Yes.
Relax Rupa. We will stop the video going viral. Okay? Alright. Tell me what else are you enjoying now?
I love drawing and sketching.
Oh, you like to draw? Wonderful. So would you like to make a drawing for me? I can put it up with these pictures. That's nice. Okay. So, tell me, we will lodge the complaint for sure, but then you do not have to worry about it. Okay. So, would you like to and continue with your relaxation and affirmations also?
Yes.
So, every day spare about an hour where you can do your relaxation, say your affirmations and draw or paint anything that comes to your mind. If you wish, you can express yourself in the drawing.
Yes.
It will give you a good vent for your feeling and you will feel relaxed after that also. Okay. What happened? Why are you still upset? What?
I'm not yet going to my college because I'm scared that he will threaten me, and I'm not ready to face that boy.
Oh, that boy is in your college and so you are scared to go to college? Never mind. Do you have some other friends also who are in the same class?
Yes, 3 of them.
3 of them. Wonderful. So, what you can do is every day go only with your friends. Don't go anywhere alone,
Okay.
especially in the college.
Okay.
So, the boy will not be able to harm you in any way. Okay. So, don't worry. Please continue what I have told you to. I will see you next Tuesday.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. But you won't tell my parents, right?
No, no, no. Not at all. Not until you give me the permission. But do you understand? See, for the cyber crime, if you have to lodge a complaint, since you are a minor, we will need your parents' consent and they will have to help us in this. Okay? So, do not worry, only when you are okay with it, we will lodge a complaint and then I will talk to your parents.
Okay. Yes.
I will call them up and I will talk to them.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Then see you next time.
Yes.
In the film clip, you have observed how further exploration starts here. The dialogue is well developed between the counselor and the client. If you have observed that at one point Rupa hesitates to continue to explore the situation. She wants to hide something from the counselor, thinking that she may not be able to speak up about it confidently. So, there first she discusses about the difficulties that she is facing in her regular daily life, but later on she also reveals what is the cause, why she is also not ready to go to school and remain at home most of the time, locked herself in the room. So, that is the further exploration the counselor has to be very careful about observing. So, if you have noted down at which point the counselor realizes or understands exactly what the problem is, depending on that she will be able to continue the process in the correct direction. So, here the counseling process is like solving a jigsaw puzzle. With the rapport, we start collecting all the missing parts of the counseling process. Now, we are going to move on to the next stage and that is the further exploration or the diagnosis of a problem. Now, we have realized that the rapport is developed, the dialogue is developed between the counselor and the client. Now, there is a big difference between what is a difficulty and what is a problem. Generally, a difficulty is very short lived. It might be there for a while, but for the problem, to get it converted into the problem, it takes a longer time. So, the duration is important. Then next is how intensely the problem is felt by the client and also the counselor. So, the intensity of the problem is the second issue that we need to discuss before we come to a conclusion whether it is a difficulty or it is a problem. Then the third way is about frequency. How frequently the DIAS functioning takes place, how frequently it is affecting the daily life of the client. All this needs to be discussed and it will help you to give the correct diagnosis. Now, the entire counseling process is dependent on 3 parts which are shown on the clip, that it is the thought, the feeling and the behavior. Behavior is obviously observable data, then how the thoughts have been interpreted by the counselor is important, and also what the person is going through, what are his feelings, what are his emotions. All these 3 parts very commonly affect each other. like we all have observed in our daily life. If a person is feeling gloomy, depressed, then obviously his thought process is also scattered. He may not be able to think on a one particular topic for a longer time. So, the content is missing in different directions. Also, if your thought process is confusing, you are not able to come to a right decision because of some other problem, then your behavior also will change. Your stability, the way you carry yourself, everything will be affected, which you have seen in the mental health status examination. So, the commonly what we have to take is a comprehensive view of all these three parts together. Thus, being aware about the inseparable parts of any person, we should be able to base our diagnosis considering all the three aspects, which are feeling, thought and the observable behavior. Once you have collected your own data, you have collected the data about the verbal as well as non-verbal clues, we classify the data which leads to a correct diagnosis of a problem. Now, we will discuss certain ways to diagnose a problem. The first is, like, you can always ask the questions indirectly. Do not directly ask a question because the client may not feel comfortable in answering your question about the problem. We have to ask the indirect questions like, has there been a change in the pattern of sleeping, working? Also, sometimes if the behavior has changed, if these are behavioral manifestations of a problem for which a counselor has to be very sensitive to. Then sometimes the clients might also talk about unexplained aches and pains. Actually, there is nothing wrong physically. Sometimes they go and see the doctor also, but they find there is nothing wrong. But then they are confused even further because they do not know what the real cause is. So, we have to also consider this frequency of these aches and pains if they are mentioned by the client. Then if there are any changes in the interpersonal relationships, like in the clip you have seen, the mother has explained that the child does not talk to me anymore, she does not communicate anything, or she withdraws herself completely and locks herself in the room. So, these are a few signs which also will be able to help you in the diagnosis. Then there are also specific patterns of behavior, like there are many times the problems of sleep are disturbed. The continuously the person might say that she has spent sleepless nights, that is how we observed in the film. Or and also we need to find out if there are any other resources which can be helpful, like there could be some people who are very effective in the client's life. So, we need to understand who are the people who are in her or his support system. They are also called as significant others in psychology, and how the client has tried to cope with it. What is the coping mechanism? What is the coping strategy? So, before the client comes to you, the client has already gone through a difficult patch. They have tried to cope up themselves with it, maybe by changing in the behavior pattern, or sometimes they also confide themselves in somebody else who is not a professional, but they have tried something or other on their own, which is also called as the coping mechanism. Then what makes the problem better or disappear? Sometimes the problem might disappear for a short while and recurrently it affects them. Many times the work performance or the academic performance of a student changes if the person is going through a difficult patch, if the person is facing a problem. So, all these changes need to be discussed and also noted down by an expert counselor, which will again help you in the correct diagnosis. So, especially now today we have discussed the importance of the diagnosis. If your diagnosis is wrong, then obviously the complete intervention will go completely useless. So, what you need to do is first make sure that use all your resources, all your talents to make sure that your diagnosis is right, check and recheck again and again, and only then you can say, okay, this is my diagnosis and this is how we need to plan. Accordingly, we are going to, in the next session we will see how the intervention has to be a planned activity. It is not just a gossip session or a chatting session. So, we need to have a goal for every intervention that is planned, which we will be discussing in the next session.